Hey folks, this is Vince with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to quickly check out Aliens Dark Descent. This is a game that you can find on Steam and other places for about $40. So this is a semi-top-down, real-time strategy game, very squad-based, kind of similar to XCOM and Warhammer 40k Dawn of War, in that you are going to be managing a squadron of troops, leveling them up in between missions while following a campaign-based story. Unlike XCOM, where missions are sort of like randomly generated with the occasional campaign, primary mission that you're trying to do, this is a set story. You will always see the same content from beginning to end with every playthrough. When you start a new playthrough, you'll be able to adjust, the difficulty. There's health points, detection time, enemy aggressiveness. There's a death clock in this game. It just makes the game more difficult as time passes. You'll be essentially on this ship called the Otago. And I don't want to spoil the story too much, but you will be seeing some pretty basic characters. You've got your administrator, I believe her name was like Mako Hayes or something like that. You've got your typical military, I think his name was Harper. Anyway, so these two will typically be bantering back and forth in between missions. The story's okay, but I was more interested in the gameplay and leveling up characters. Like in XCOM, you'll be seeing other side characters, like there's a Barracks, for example, and of course there's the staple military guy there, making comments as you look around. In the Barracks, you'll be able to send people to training to level themselves up. There is an XP system in this game. Like in XCOM, each character will level up, and you'll be able to promote them to different classes. You'll be able to assign new perks to them, and of course they will get injured and the like, so you kind of have to let them sit out for a while or heal in the med bay. As far as the different classes in the game, I've seen like Sergeant, Medic, Gunner, there's a Tech class. Each of these classes will unlock unique perks that you can equip to your character as you level up. You'll also be able to upgrade these characters, like aiming sights, for example, or giving them a radio. Those are paid upgrades in that you will be using materials that you earn in the missions and upgrading them that way. The radio, for example, might give you more command points, which probably doesn't mean anything to you right now, but it's very important in missions because you'll need them to get past some really tough situations. But long story short, in the Barracks, you'll be able to sort of manage your squad, level them up. You'll be able to see their status. There is a very limited character customization screen. It's just adjusts some sliders. It's nothing to write home about. There is a workshop. Unfortunately, the weapons, I was kind of underwhelmed by all the different weapons in the game. Special weapons range from like shotguns, flamethrowers, sniper rifles, pistols. There's like 2 or 3 of those. It was very bare bones, in my opinion. I would have liked more weapons. Medical stuff, again, your troops will get injured, and you have so many doctors or medical people, and you can assign them to your injured squad members to increase the rate at which they come back. There's also this psychiatric care unit where your troops will gain trauma over time just by going on missions and gaining stress, which I'll talk about later. They will have to be healed of stress and trauma. So they will come to the psychiatric care unit, you assign them there, and they lose so many trauma points every single day. The game is broken up into days. There's also a laboratory, not a laboratory. I hope there's a laboratory, but there's a laboratory where you'll be unlocking new technologies, and then you can spend your Xeno points to equip them from mission to mission. I've only encountered 3 so far. Again, very underwhelming. It's not like XCOM's constant upgrading with the science. Here it's like very limited. The game is broken up over several days. And at the beginning of every day, you have to make some kind of decision. Sometimes the events are good, sometimes the events are bad. I don't know if they're scripted or not, or if it's random. I've only done the 1 playthrough so far. And I'm only 25% done with the game, and I've spent like 4 or 5 hours in it. It's pretty fun. Anyway, once you get past the whole random event that you have to deal with, then you can do one squad deployment for that day. You pick a location on the planet. I don't want to spoil the story, but there is a planet that you're orbiting, and you're going to be choosing where you want to drop your troops, assuming you've unlocked those locations. You'll be able to see the primary and secondary objectives, possibly any other information that you have on the place. There are multiple floors to these locations. And then you'll be presented with this whole XCOM. Oh, there's squadron troops walking at the screen. You can kind of edit them from here, but it doesn't let you do as much as I would have liked. If you want to edit them in any particular way, you have to go back to the barracks, do it, and then come back here. I think XCOM did that whole seamless upgrade your troops on the fly a lot better. You can even bring supplies with you. There's supplies, medical, and sentry guns. And you can even equip your upgraded laboratory stuff from here. Like, for example, you unlock the facehugger removal kit. So if you bring that with you and one of your troops does get hit with a facehugger, you will be able to remove that facehugger. But you have to spend technology points or whatever in order to bring it with you. And you get those just by killing aliens and picking up their DNA points. So what is the gameplay like once you're actually into it? Well, first of all, you cannot control individual members of your squad. When you move, they all move, which is kind of disappointing. It would have been nice to, like, these two control the checkpoint over here, or the choke point over here. These two guard this door. I would have liked that, but instead they all move as one unit. There is a cover system in this game. It's very simple. When they're behind something, they have blue shield icons. When they're ducking behind something with left control, they're hidden. So as long as, the line of sight. There is line of sight in this game. Enemy troops will spot you and crap will hit the fan. You'll be able to weld doors by spending your supplies. And, of course, aliens will just come and wreck your day every now and again. Again, these missions are typically scripted. But the nice thing about them is that they're sort of permanent. In that the progression is consistent and permanent, in that when you go down to a mission, you do some things. Let's say you complete, say, 50% of what you're supposed to do at that location. You can leave and then come back at a later date, and everything will just be as you left it, including everything you've looted. So you do have limited supplies. Things do not restock. You do get this arc, which is like a vehicle that you can order around the map at specific choke points. It's predetermined. You have no control over where it goes other than, I want it to go here. Like, there are specific points where you can tell it to go, and it'll go there. But you can't tell it to, like, park exactly on this spot, which is kind of unfortunate. It would have been nice to have more control over it. But using that arc, you can leave the map. You can bring hostages or injured squad members to that arc for, sort of to get them out of there so that they don't get killed. You will have to, on occasion, hack terminals, assuming you've got the little wrench supplies and then the technical know-how. There are, classes in this game, and if you're a techie or if you have a skill that's very techie related, you'll be able to hack into rooms that you normally couldn't hack into and get extra supplies that way. By holding left mouse button, you'll enact your flashlight, and that will highlight all interactable objects around you. So that's something to be, aware of there. So the upper right-hand corner of the screen is primarily what you're going to want to look at in terms of what's going on. This game is very stealth heavy. Very stealth heavy, in that if you are detected by aliens, there are other enemies, human enemies in this game that don't do this, but when you are detected by an alien, if it sees you, they will initiate a hunt, and they will come after you. And it's a limited time. It reminds me of, like, the whole Metal Gear Solid, and then for a while they're hunting you, and then things cool down, and then you can keep going. But when you're hunted, these enemies will continuously spawn at you, and then this alien aggressiveness meter in the upper right will go up. It'll start on, like, low and go to easy, then medium, then hard. It reminds me of the whole Risk of Rain difficulty, where it's constantly increasing over time, only this meter increases when you're detected. When the hunt ends, that meter pauses. At certain points of that alien aggressiveness meter, it will initiate this large swarm that will come at you. Sometimes it'll trigger a warrior to spawn or something like that. So it's just something to keep in mind. The game rewards you for sneaking around. You'll be able to deploy various things like sentry guns. There's even like a little scanner that you can put down, and it will sort of, it's like a motion, it's a stationary motion tracker. And it'll tell you if things are pinging on the map and what direction they're going, that kind of thing. But primarily, you're trying to get around this map without getting killed. Like I said, everything is persistent, so you do have to be mindful of the ammo that you're spending. The act of blowing something up, like a wall that you're trying to get through, that will cost ammo. You can use your medical supplies to heal your people, but those are limited. You can use your medical supplies to reduce your stress. Stress is another huge thing in this game, where your characters will gain stress over time, and there are tiers to that. So the worse the tier of stress, the worse debuffs they get. There is a slowdown in this game or a tactical pause you can choose in the options menu. You can have it set to pause if you hit the command point menu, or you can have time to slow down. It's just a difficulty thing. I prefer just to pause everything. But these command points are very useful because they regenerate over time, and they allow you to do special things, like a grenade launcher. You don't have to bring the grenade launcher with you. Your characters automatically have it, and they will fire it if you tell them to at the cost of a command point. Putting down that motion tracker that I was talking about is another thing. So using these command points, a shotgun at close range, that's another command point thing. You'll be able to sort of get past some really bad oh crap moments. Speaking of which, you'll come across certain points in your campaign maps where the game will tell you, you are about to enter a dangerous situation. Are you sure you want to do this? Make sure that you're rested. Speaking of rested, you can find various rooms to go into, and if you weld all the doors, you can rest and regain some stress and some health and stuff like that. Some perks allow you to regenerate ammo too, which is kind of nice. But these oh crap moments, let me tell you, these aliens are fast, and even on the easy difficulty setting, it's tough. Sometimes the pathfinding is a little weird. Sometimes my troops get hung up, like running into a wall or something like that. But it is so satisfying watching all of these aliens come at you, and you're trying like heck to mow them down. Quick tip, use your arc as much as you can. The arc vehicle will not set off the alien aggressiveness hunt thing. So use it to lure enemies over to it and just kill them outright. I think that's the way to go if you can do that. But when it happens, when crap hits the fan, and it will quickly, it's just that adrenaline rush, and I love that. When you think you've had enough, even if you're not done with your primary and secondary objectives, or if, like, let's say your alien aggressiveness meter is really high, and you think you've pushed your luck long enough, you can extract back to the Otago with what you've collected, and then come back to it at a later time. And again, all of that will, be there for you just as you left it. So all the boxes that you've looted up to that point, all of the enemies that you've killed, but keep in mind that aliens do respawn, especially during hunts. So you are kind of up against the clock here. You have to ideally complete a level or a location in, say, 2 or 3 days if you can swing it. Maybe do like 33% progress one day, another 33%, then just keep going. But if you're feeling brave, then by all means, go ham. After the mission is over, you'll be presented with the after report. You'll be able to promote people if you are given the option to. Like I said, there is an XP system in this game. Leveling them up and keeping them alive is extremely important because they will gain some really cool perks and some really cool benefits, and you can equip higher level people with better weapons that you craft from the workshop and so on. So all in all, without spoiling anything else, this game is pretty darn good. I'm enjoying it. My only real complaint is the dialogue. They patched it recently, but it's still pretty bad. Like, this game is really stealth heavy. So when I right click to go somewhere, my squad is constantly going, all right team, let's go, all right team, double time, all right team, all right. Imagine that for half an hour, 45 minutes. It's tiring. I wish there was a way to turn that off in the options menu. Like I said, they patched it, kinda sorta, but it's still there. It's out of place. When you're trying to be stealthy and avoiding aliens, the last thing you want your squad to yell, "Come on, team! Come on, team!" Doesn't make any sense to me. And some of the characters, very cringy. You've got your staple administrator and military guy, very Stargatey. Anyway, do I recommend this game? Yes. It's fun. It's tense. I wish... I wish I could regenerate resources. Yes, you do generate materials over the course of several days on your ship, but the doomsday clock is ever ticking. So the longer you take, the worse it gets on the surface. It starts off with drones just patrolling, but then you get into like warriors and praetorians and other nasty things. So the longer you take in this game, the worse it gets. So like, I wish there was a way to, yes, you can customize the difficulty, but I wish there was a way to refine it so that I had a longer period of time to just mess around. You know, just do a little bit here, a little bit there. Yeah, easy mode is lax, but I wish there was a way to fine-tune that difficulty. But other than that, I'm really having a good time with it. So do I recommend this game? Yes. If you guys haven't already, subscribe to me on Twitch and YouTube. That way you can stay up to date with any new content I happen to publish. This is Vince. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all next time. Take care.